G'day guys, welcome to week 3 of the finals for the NRL. Geez, the NRL videos are coming to an end and it's getting sad. Grand final coming up next week. Let's get into my predictions for the preliminary finals. So the top 4 sides remain, and we have 4th versus 3rd, as well as 1st versus 2nd, finishing in the regular season. The first game sees the Canberra Raiders on Friday night, 7:50 at GIO at home. And I'll just check the odds as well, because I did that last week. I know that the match is a sellout, I've heard, which is really good for Canberra. Expecting a big crowd there. So the Raiders are paying $1.40 and the Rabbitohs at $2.90. I'll talk about the team list before I get into my prediction. So Joey Leilua returns to the starting side after being on the bench due to the fireworks, which if you saw in my reaction video, oh my god, fireworks went into Joey Leilua's eye minutes before the game even started. Bailey Simonson goes back to the bench. Nick Kotrick is named to play despite suffering a gash. Josh Papali has been named to start and Dynamis Louis is on the bench. So you got some really good players here. You got Chance Nickel-Klokstad. I think Alex Johnson is actually playing really well for the Rabbitohs in number 2. Dane Gagai was off last week, so I expect a big game from him. Jack Whiten, when he runs the ball, he looks dangerous in that number 6. They found a genuine 5'8", in my opinion, Canberra. He's been really good from the switch to from 5'8" to fullback to 5'8", sorry. Josh Papali, I've spoken about a few times. He's in fantastic form. Look, on paper, the Rabbitohs have a little bit too much firepower here on the form of Damien Cook, Gagai when he plays Origin, but when he plays for Rabbitohs, he's a bit off, but I thought he's had a really good year. But I just think in Canberra, a Friday night, and one game away from a grand final, so much confidence beating the Storm. I think the Raiders will win this. Now, I am on the bandwagon, I guess you can call it, for the Raiders now, for the remainder of the year. Obviously, you can see some Eels stuff behind me. If this is your first video, massive Parramatta fan. So very devastated by the weekend's result. But I love what the Raiders are doing this year. I've never liked the Raiders as much as I have in 2019. They look their best since like the 1993 or 1994. I think it was 1993 when they last won a premiership. And they were fantastic back then. I think they're going to be a little bit too good here. Expect a big game from Jared Croker. And I'm going to tip the Raiders quite high scoring as well. I think they can defend really well and keep the Rabbitohs to 10 points. So for that reason, I'm going to tip the Raiders, who finished 4th, over the Rabbitohs, who finished 3rd, 26 points to 10. I think they'll be a little bit too good. I wouldn't be surprised if South Sydney do get over. I am a little bit worried they'll turn up because they had a shocker against Manly, in my opinion. There are a lot of errors made in that match from both sides, even though I thought both played fairly well. But Raiders for me, 26 points to 10 at home, sold out crowd. The second game at the SCG, the final game of the year before the grand final, last year's grand final, the Sydney Roosters against the Melbourne Storm. Roosters paying $1.55 against the Storm at $2.40. The Storm looked very good last week. There were still a few errors that were made, but they were very clinical. Now, they also were at home, and they've got a big following, and I think there'll be big support for them at the SCG. I'm not heading to this match. I've heard a lot of you say if I'm heading to it. I don't think I'm going to head down because I bought my tickets to the grand final, which I'm so excited for. Look, I'll have a look at the team list, but I'm pretty sure I've got my tip for this one. So, let's read. So, the loss of Jared Hargraves due to suspension sees Sasia Takiaho promoted to the starting side. Well, that's a big in for them, but I think it's a really good play off the bench. Lindsay Collins comes onto the bench. Sam Verrills retains his place at hooker with co-captain Jake Friend named among the reserve. Oh, so Jake Friend, who hasn't played since round out 18. He's only played 5 games this year, I think. A fantastic player. He's just been injury struck all year. No changes for Craig Bellamy. Curtis Scott retains his spot in the centres, and Will Chambers has again been named to come off the bench. Heard a rumour that Will Chambers might be shopped around to another club. We'll wait and see. Now, Latrell Mitchell doesn't get to face Will Chambers. He faces Curtis Scott. I think I'm looking forward to that because there's always beef between the centres in this match. Really looking forward to Luke Keary against Cameron Munster and Cameron Smith against the newbie Sam Ferrells. I think Sam Ferrells and Reid Marnie have both been really good all year. So I spoke about Reid Marnie last week and he was good against Cameron Smith. So we'll wait and see what Sam Ferrells does. Look, the Storm always make the grand final. So it's very possible that it's going to happen again. I think this game will go down to the wire. Now, a lot of people think it'll go to Golden Point. I don't think that'll be the case. And I think a safe bet is the Roosters. I think they've been way too good this year at the SCG. They've scored an average of 30 points. But I think neither team will reach 20 in this match. That's probably my best bet of the week. Neither team to score 20 in this match. I think it'll be very low scoring. And I'm going to go the Roosters 18 points to 14. I think they're going to be a little bit too good. I'm expecting a big game from Latrell Mitchell and Luke Keary's kicking game. Cronk is going to want a little bit of vengeance after being beaten 14 points to 12 last time the Roosters played against the Storm. I think the Roosters, they're defending their premiership title. They go into a grand final against the Raiders next week, which I'll talk about next week, the grand final. I could be wrong. Who knows? The Rabbits and Roosters could win, or the Raiders and the Storm could win, or the Storm and the Rabbitohs could win. Anything can happen. What do you guys think of my tips? What are your tips for the grand final for this weekend? And let's get into my best bets. Okay, so my best bets for the round. I'm going to go with the Canberra Raiders 13 plus. We're going to go with Jared Croker, anytime try scorer. I think he might even get a double. I've got a feeling he might get a double, which is paying $11. Not a bad price there. He's a great winger from the Rabbits. I'm going to go with Alex Johnston. He crossed over last week for a try. I think he can do it again in Canberra Friday night. I haven't done this one this year, but I'm going to go with under 18.5 points in the second half. I think it'll be a low-scoring second half. I'm going to go with the Raiders 14-6 at halftime, and full time, as I said, 26 points to 10. And the Canberra Raiders to race to 20 points. That's paying a nice $62 there. That's my Raiders and Rabbits. Roosters and Storm. I've gone fairly short with this multi. I've gone with the Roosters 1 to 12. I can't see either team winning 13 plus. The Latrell Mitchell. He's been a little bit quiet. He was good against the Rabbits, but I think he's going to have a massive game. I think he's going to wake up before the grand final, and he's ready for it. Curtis Scott has retained his spot for the Melbourne Storm. I'm going to back him to score a try. If there's 14 points scored, it's very hard to pick a try scorer, and I'm going to go with under 34 points total. That's paying $85. Not a bad price at all. 2 roughies for the week, 2 first try scorers at $250. We're going to go with Jared Croker paying $11, and we're going to go with Luke Keary at $23. But if you combine that, as I said, $250, really good price there. The roughie try scorers for the week at $380. I'm going to go with John Bateman. I really like him to score for Canberra on Friday night. Now, I already backed Alex Johnson, so we're going to go with Sam Burgess to score a try, which equals the 10 points and a missed conversion. Joseph Manu's been in great form for the Roosters, so I'm going to back him for a 4-pointer, and Ryan Pappenhausen for the Storm. That's it for the NRL, but it is also the AFL Grand Final this week between Richmond Tigers and Greater Western Sydney. So I've got a few bets I'd like to share with you guys. It's up to you whether you want to back me, with me, or against me. So, I've got a roughie as Jeremy Cameron at $16 as the Norm Smith medal. I've got a few Norm Smith medal picks. Now, Dusty Martin at $6.50. Not a bad price. You can't ignore that. Probably should get on board that. But I like Basher Hooley. He's had some really good games for Richmond. He's at $11. Not a bad price there at all as well. And last but not least, at $20, AFL Grand Final, Richmond 1-39, Daniel Lloyd to kick a goal, Jeremy Cameron to kick a goal, Daniel Royelli to kick a goal, and the total match points under 151. I think it'll be fairly low scoring to an extent. That's paying $21.75. Who's excited for the AFL Grand Final? Who's excited for the NRL prelims? I'll be trying to do a live stream of both, and I'll be doing the last 10 minutes of the Raiders and the Rabbitohs game as we find out who progresses to the Grand Final and whose season comes to an end. Anyway guys, please do subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys are enjoying this video. I'm loving the support. We've just hit 1,500 subs, which is a massive, massive achievement. Leave some questions below. I'm going to be doing a Q&A in 6 days. And that's it from me, and I'll see you guys next time.